Welcome back to my 5 o'clock kitchen. It was so much fun doing the last episode and we're so bored, we're gonna do another one. Thanks everyone for all the helpful suggestions and messages and well wishes. It was really, it touched my heart. So here we're gonna go again. Second episode, appetizers. So recipes for me are like memories. Not only does it feed the body, but it feeds the soul as well. And this first recipe was given to me by a good friend, Fran, years and years ago. So when I make it, I always think of her. So it not only warms the heart, but it warms the soul as well. So this first recipe is for my friend Fran. So let's get this started. My beverage, always. So Fran, this first recipe is dedicated to you. Here's to you. So this is a recipe I'm going to call affectionately Fran's spinach pies. It's a great appetizer. Takes a little bit of time. It's got a few steps. Super easy, but it takes a day or two to get together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sauteing a little bit of onion. Get your pan warm with your olive oil. You don't want to add too much olive oil because you want to keep this recipe as liquid free as you can, because all this stuff's going to go into a spinach pie and you don't want it real moist. Did I say moist? So to the pan with a little bit of olive oil, I'm going to add a small onion. Guys, we'll let these saute until they're translucent and tender. So I think these are ready. They're translucent, they're a little golden, and they're soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, turn it off. I've got a box of spinach here, frozen, extremely dry, so go ahead and be sure you wring this out and make sure it's really dry. You do not want those little spinach pockets to have a ton of moisture in them. So turn off your heat. This is going to help cool down these onions because we're going to add some cheese to this, and you don't want that to melt before you start the process. So I went with appetizers for this reason. I was going to try to do something Eastery because it is Easter this week, and thought, probably not the time to mess with tradition. So I've been noticing everyone's having game nights and fun things like that. So this is something you can do for a game night. Throw them a couple appetizers and they'll play the 50th game of Yahtzee with you, trust me. So let me tell you a little bit about the dough. It's so good and so easy. So easy I can even do it, and you know I can't bake. So what you're going to do here is you're going to flour your little surface. The dough is actually 8 ounces of cream cheese, 2 sticks of butter, and 2 cups of sifted flour. That's it. It's so versatile. You could put an old shoe in this dough and it would be amazing. So what they want you to do is they want you to make the dough and refrigerate it overnight. That's the step that's going to take you 24 hours. You can even do this in the morning before you go to work. It takes no time. cream together the butter and the cream cheese, add the flour, put it in your mixer, form a ball, boom, it's done. So easy. So what I do is I cut the dough in fours, just because it will come to room temperature and be able to roll out a little bit faster for you. If you leave it in that big ball, it's going to take all day. So I do it in discs. I've rolled already 3 of the discs that I made earlier today. So here's the last disc. Just put it out on your floured surface. Like I said, I'm not a baker, so this might get ugly. And you roll it out. Gosh, I don't know. Use your judgment. Not too thick, not too thin. Just pastry. Kind of pick it up, see where it's at. Better. Alright, so take a little of that extra flour off there. You don't really need all that on there. Here's my cutter. So easy. So go ahead, make your rounds. So my sauteed spinach and onion has cooled. So now I'm going to add my cheese. So the first in is what the recipe calls pot cheese. Not exactly sure what that means to you, but to me, it always has meant cottage cheese that's been rinsed. Pot cheese can be anything to you. Use what you want to use. I don't judge. Cottage cheese. Rinse off the way so it just makes curd in there. Quarter of a pound of feta cheese. I like it in the chunk. For this, just seems to add maybe a little less moisture. So, but again, you can kind of mess with this recipe. A little more cheese, a little less cheese. If you don't like feta, maybe you could use mozzarella or a little bit of parm in there. Whatever you want. So I'll put some feta in there. Break it up good. In goes my pot cheese. Those are just the little cottage cheese curds that we just rinsed. You don't really need to add salt to this because the feta is already pretty salty. Maybe you could put a little pepper in there. Trying to mix this around. Get it good and mix together. Any of the bigger pieces you can go ahead and break those up. This filling's also really good for an omelet, so if you've got any left over, it's yummy that way. Now to the spinach, onion, and cheeses, we're going to add 1 beaten egg. Just kind of to bind it all together and hold the filling together as it bakes. The egg, and this is another reason you want this filling cool before you add the egg. You don't want it cooking, you just want it in as a binder. So this recipe makes a lot of these little spinach pies, so the more help you can get, the better you're gonna like it. You've got kids, I don't know, maybe this is part of the home ec homeschooling thing comes in. I don't know, math, how many can you make? So this takes a while. So go ahead, put a teaspoon of that filling in there. Don't overfill it like I just did. Go ahead, make a little pocket. Boom. Goes pretty quick once you get into the rhythm, but like I said, the more hands on this project, the better. The recipe says it makes 100. Probably not that many, but probably at least a good 60, 70. So I usually make a recipe of these or double it right before Thanksgiving. Throw them in the freezer. They freeze amazingly, and then you've got appetizers for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and even to New Year's. So it's a good recipe for that as well. So I've preheated the oven to 425. We're going to bake these for 20 minutes until they're golden brown and yummy. And like I said, these freeze great. So you're going to go ahead and make the hundreds you're going to make. Freeze them on a cookie sheet. Once they're frozen, you can put them into a Ziploc bag. Keep the bag in the freezer for up to 3-4 months. They're great appetizers. You can just pull them out, put them into a preheated 425 pan. They cook frozen for 20 minutes. How, I don't know. They just do. And they're amazing. So you may have all noticed my apron. Apparently I have a wardrobe department as well as a videographer and crack editor. So during our little quarantine time, she made me this amazing apron. Thought it was so fitting for this time as well as this show. Okay, on to the second recipe. Spinach, tomato, artichoke flatbread pizzas. Pizza. So let's get going. What I have here is I have a bag of spinach. To the spinach, I'm gonna go ahead, add a little container of halved grape tomatoes. Many artichokes as you want. Go ahead and drain those. I love artichokes. I'm going to use a big jar. You use whatever makes you happy. Let those drain for a second. I'll add, about a half a teaspoon, full teaspoon of dried basil. Fresh basil's better, but these are desperate times, my friends. So I'm going to chop these artichokes up just a tiny bit. Here's my sous chef Yoshi coming to help. A few people have asked me what's wrong with Yoshi. There's nothing wrong with Yoshi. He's just blind, that's all. Lost his eyes due to glaucoma, which is just fine with him. He gets around great. And the good part is he's applied and received his medical marijuana card. So Yoshi's good. Good and chill. So in go the artichokes. Like I said, as many or few as you want. A little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons maybe. Some salt and pepper. Mix these ingredients up and then on to the pizza portion. So I've got my flatbreads on my parchment lined pan. On top of the naan bread, this is oil, just olive oil, parsley and garlic. Put that in the food processor and just spread that around there. Okay, on top of that oily bread, might have put a little bit too much on there, but it's yummy so it doesn't matter. On top of that, fresh shredded mozzarella. Should always shred your cheese if you can. Pre-shredded cheese has a little cornstarchy stuff on it so it doesn't stick together. This melts better and just yummier. As much cheese as you want. To this vegetable mixture you could also add a little rotisserie chicken, a little prosciutto, maybe some sun-dried tomatoes, anything you like. All right, on top of the mozzarella, a little bit of fresh grated parm. Add that little Italian salt to it. All right. Now, on top of that, just mound a little bit of this spinach on there. Then into the oven, 425 oven, 10 to 12 minutes, and they're gonna be amazing. So it's been 12 minutes. Get my flatbreads out of the oven. They smell so amazing. So I'll let them cool for just a minute. On there, transfer them to my cutting board. Go ahead and slice those up. You're gonna love them. So there you have it, Fran's spinach pies and spinach artichoke tomato flatbread pizza for your next cocktail party, game night, quarantine dinner, whatever it is you want to do. Trust me, they're amazing. The next time you make them, somebody's going to think of you when they have them again. So give them the recipe. It's an heirloom for me. Fran, I love and miss you. So go ahead and make these for someone you love. Thanks again.